Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Side Projekt Podcast. God, it tastes so good. Have you guys got your Side Projekt Park mugs yet? God, it tastes like glory when you sip out of those. Tastes like glory, not a glory hole, just glory. Could be though, you never really know. How is everybody doing, man? Oh, man. You know what? I'm going to get right into it today. Not even going to waste any time because we got a lot of things that we're going to talk about with my two guests this week. I've got two really dope gentlemen joining me this week that share many common interests with topics discussed on this show, but there's one in particular that they love to focus on themselves on their own podcast. I've been following these guys for a while now, and I just love to see the growth all around that they've been experiencing, so much so that I followed them since they were previously known as Projekt Tech Gaming. I've had the pleasure and opportunity to appear on their show on episode 66, which was a two-parter, and now I'm stoked to have them here. I'd love it if we can give them a nice round of applause as we give a warm welcome to Rob and Kelvin and Rob of the Gaming Duo Podcast. Yes. How you guys doing, man?
What is going on, dude?
Stoked to have you guys here, man.
Yeah, man. I love your intro. I keep telling you every single time I see you, like your intros are fucking fire.
I'm hyped.
I'm going. I'm just like,
Thank you, man.
Let's talk about games. You know.
Oh man, I appreciate it, dude. I appreciate it, man. You guys want to just do a quick little introduce yourselves, say who's who, so everybody knows what they're. I mean, it's gonna pop up on the screen. I'll put your names and everything up, but sure. Just a little like, hey, what's up? You know, I'm Kelvin the Kevlar Vest. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
That was great, dude. Yeah. So I'm Kelvin from the Gaming Duo Podcast. Yes, and this is my first time here, and I'm freaking stoked. I'm stoked.
Yes, dude.
And I'm Rob from the Gaming Duo Podcast, one half of the the whole thing, and I'm stoked as well. And I guess I'm Rob the Robot. I think is what you said, Chassis, right?
Yes, I did.
That was so random, but it works. I don't know how it works.
It was random as hell. I don't know, man. It just felt right. You know what I mean? It just came out, dude. It just came out. If you guys, everybody watching right now, projectors, if you enjoy this conversation here with us today, make sure that if you're watching on YouTube to like it, comment, share, people's elbow, that subscribe button. And if you're watching and or listening on Spotify or listening wherever you listen to podcasts, actually, go ahead and follow and give it a rating. If you're not, as you know, all these things help to run it up. And again, if you enjoy this conversation and you want more of these guys, follow them on their Instagram at the Gaming Duo Podcast, and make sure to follow, like, rate, comment, share, and run it up for the Gaming Pod wherever you listen to podcasts as well. Man, are you guys Sonic fans or what?
I would say, yeah, I would say so. I mean, we're not hardcore Sonic fans, but I think I kind of peaked at Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. That's kind of like where.
Same.
And then I kind of fell off after that. Yeah.
Gotta tell you, yeah, mine was actually the first Sonic Adventure. I don't even think I got too deep into Sonic Adventure 2. I don't remember it very well, actually, at all. I know I played it. I know I played it, but I don't remember it very well. I remember a few things with Shadow, and that's about it. So I know I played it, but man, Sonic Frontiers, dude. This month is it's heavy for gaming news, gaming reveals, trailers, gaming talk. I mean, gaming in general, as the summer usually is. We often tend to have gaming conventions, but not necessarily as commonplace anymore these days, unfortunately. Which we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But companies, developers, they still tend to have showcases of their own. Most of them via YouTube. And one of those gameplay reveals that we got just recently was The Legend of Sonic Breath of the Blur. I mean, fuck, Sonic Frontiers, dude. Don't you hate when you get that confused? I always do that, dude. Fuck. Sonic Frontiers, we got 7 minutes of gameplay that was showcased, and I think IGN got the exclusive scoop, which is like so odd to me that they didn't come to one of us. I thought that was very strange.
Right, like,
it's weird, dude. Like,
it is what it is. I just felt that was kind of
a
little bit of a gut punch, but it's all good, you know. Look, man, I was kind of stoked when I saw the trailer for the new Sonic game a while back. I feel like they gave us just enough to talk about, but not enough to figure out fully what was going on, making like speculative talk interesting, which I did in a previous episode. But after seeing the gameplay demo that just launched a few days ago here, I'm a little conflicted, you know. I'm not sure where I lay with that. I mean, what do you guys think? Were you interested in the game just from the trailer? And then how are you feeling now that you saw this gameplay demo? Whoever wants to go first.
I'll let you take it, Kel. You go first.
Yeah, I'll start off. So before we start off, I just want to say that I'm rocking the Projekt Pap.
Yeah, dude, I was gonna mention that.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, man.
Gotta represent.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But but yeah. So here's the thing. When I first saw the trailer, right, IGN had the first exclusive. I think we saw a teaser trailer prior to them having the first look, right? And
yeah, I think there was 2 trailers altogether, right? 2 or 3,
something like that. Yeah. It looks. I was stoked. I'm like, oh, this is a different take on Sonic. Like, this looks really cool. It looks more of that gritty. It looks kind of darker, not darker, but I guess like whatever color plate that they use was like a little bit different. But it looks more like a Dreamcast Sonic to me, in my opinion. And it had like the realistic look to it, sort of. Right. It looked cool, open world. It looked like a different take, like I said. So I'm like, all right, this can work. And then when IGN started showing up some of the trailers, I'm like, all right. I'm starting to see some of the issues that I've seen in previous Sonic games, right? Yeah. So this really reminds me of Adventure 2 Battle, right? Where, in my opinion, Adventure 2 Battle was great. I thought it was fun for what it was back in the day when we've played it, but mechanics felt clunky. Graphics were fine, but there's like some weird mechanic when it comes to just moving. Sonic just feels weird moving. And I feel like just by, you know, when you see a game and you're like, I kind of know exactly how that is, like how that plays just by looking at it. Yes. I know exactly how Sonic is going to play in this game because it just feels similar to Adventure 2 Battle. And I'm like,
and that's something I see a lot of people saying in the comments, actually. So you're not alone with that thought at all. There's a lot of people that feel that exact same way.
Yeah. And I mean, it's cool that they're changing it up with the open world mechanic aspect to it, right? It looks cool. But at the same time, it's like, all right, this empty open world, you see some mechanics with like some enemies here and there, but it just feels empty. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's nothing there to like really pique your interest. And then you have these weird like parkour, like railings in the air that are just floating out of nowhere. It makes no absolute sense.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, and I've seen this online. It looks like a cool, like Unreal Engine tech demo. Yes. You know what I mean? Yes. From what I've seen online. And I'm like, yeah, I guess so. It does kind of look like that. Yeah. So my excitement was high, and then it just kind of went down as soon as I saw the actual trailer.
Yeah, I feel that. Rob, what do you think? What were your thoughts?
Yeah. So again, the game is very pretty. And whenever I see the Sonic, I'm like, oh, a new Sonic game. But I have to always temper my expectations with Sonic games because they're so hit or miss. I feel like there's never in between with Sonic games. I feel like they're either like really solid or just really bad. Yeah. And this game was very reminiscent for me for Sonic 2006. When they showed that game, it was very similar. It was it was using the new graphics at the time for the Xbox 360 and the PS3, but it had no soul to it, which is kind of feels like what's happening here is this game has no soul. Again, if you saw the 7-minute long trailer, there's just not much going on. He's just running around and going up to a tower. There's one part where he's like taking forever to go up this one tower. And there's like just nothing on top of it.
There's this one part where he starts climbing for a quick sec.
Yeah.
Right. Almost like what Knuckles does, actually, though. Knuckles does the more climbing thing. Yeah. I didn't think about that until like literally right now. But I when I saw that part, I thought that was a little out of place for Sonic. I can't recall. I haven't played as big of a Sonic fan as I am. Just like you guys said earlier, I mean, I'm still a fan, but I'm not really like playing every Sonic game anymore these days. You know what I mean? It kind of stopped at Sonic Adventure for me, like I said, but I can't recall, has Sonic ever climbed like that in any game? Or is that a new mechanic?
He's climbed like up ledges, but he's never actually climbed. So like if you hit the ledge, he'll like climb up it really fast, but that's about it. I never actually seen him like do the whole Knuckles thing.
Yeah, he was like Spider-Man or it was like Assassin's Creed. It was like a mixture for a second there. You know what I mean? I was like, what's going on?
It's weird to me because Sonic is really fast.
Yeah.
Right? His thing should be able to just run up the wall because he's so fast. So exactly. I don't understand why they added that. It just looked kind of weird. Again, I think what's happening is everyone's trying to get on that bandwagon with the open world, kind of with Breath of the Wild. Still, we have Elden Ring, and they're like, we could do it too. We'll just have Sonic run forever, and that's what it was. Like it was just him running forever. So
another issue too with the game, and I think this goes with every single Sonic game we've played or known, right? Where, like you said, Rob, Sonic's supposed to be fast, right? They've never really nailed that. They've never really nailed the speed of Sonic until like. I don't think they've ever really nailed it, in my opinion. So that falls in place with this game too. It just Sonic is supposed to be fast, but he just doesn't feel like
it doesn't feel. Really to me, it looked like he was even faster in Sonic Generations. If you guys played that one,
yes,
and not Retro Sonic, or is that what they called him? I don't remember what is that what they called him? Retro Sonic, or was it a different name? They had like the Retro Sonic, and then they had the new Sonic,
right.
Modern Sonic. But I don't think
it's Modern Sonic.
Yeah. There's Modern Sonic, and then there's the other one. But in Modern Sonic, it seems faster in Sonic Generations than in this gameplay demo that we saw, and I feel like that kind of says a lot. You know what I mean? It's like that game was a while ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this gameplay demo for me, man, I thought the surroundings, at least, I thought were beautiful. I think there's parts of it that are gorgeous. The ground, the grass, the waterfalls. Actually, the graphics of like the waterfall, the water mechanics and the graphics and everything were impressed me more than anything else. I was like, oh, it's pretty crazy. That looks pretty
100%.
good for like a Sonic game. That part doesn't look bad to me, but a lot of people are saying, just like you said, that it looks like an Unreal Engine tech demo. And when I started reading people saying that, I was like, oh, damn it, dude, it does.
It does, right?
It really does.
It really does, yeah.
It's not really a gameplay demo. It literally is a tech demo. And even to further that, you see like a lot of subjects and objects popping in and out, surrounding in the distance. There's rendering delays, and it's like, okay, so this wasn't really ready to be shown either,
100%.
But without going too hard on them, I go both ways with this, and I'm glad that somebody is here that I can talk to about this situation other than just myself, because it's like without going too hard on those aspects of things, because we do have to have some sort of understanding that the game is still in development. Some of that can possibly be understandable as it's a work in progress. But at the same time, where I contradict even myself is, how much like leeway do we give them here? Like, if you're going to present something to us, shouldn't it, like, we understand that it's still a work in progress, but there should also be maybe a little bit more polish on it if you're presenting it to us, because all you're doing is kind of setting yourself up for failure. If it's popping in and out doing this, you're not showing anything, you're just running around, there's zero going on it's not really a gameplay demo at all. There's not really gameplay. It's just Sonic running. So I feel like, okay, understandable, work in progress. But at the same time, what are you showing us though? Like what are you expecting us to say?
Right.
You're not showing us anything. So where do you guys lay on that? Like, should they have waited before even showing this gameplay demo?
I 100% think they should have waited. Again, this game is coming out the end of this year, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's coming up.
Supposed to,
right? So if you're doing something with IGN and you're going to present this game for the first time, the expectations already been kind of high because people have seen the teaser trailer for it. So everyone's stoked for it. They enjoyed what they saw so far.
The moment that you slap open world on a Sonic game too, because it's so different from anything that's Sonic.
There's a certain expectation.
Exactly. People are like, oh shit. And then I think it's also like the Breath of the Wild comparison. Because I mean, let's just be honest. Like, all jokes aside, I joke about it a lot too. I always make jokes about it. But literally, all jokes aside, it really has a lot of Breath of the Wild influence. There's no way that they can sit here, if we were like in a meeting with them or something, or asked them or got an interview with them, there's no way that they can say that they weren't inspired by Breath of the Wild in some way. Yeah.
They know what they were doing. Yeah.
Like everything. The way the buildings look, the way like certain things that I can't even think of it. Like when he
Sonic
does
is in the horizon, like he's on top of that that cliff and he's looking over the horizon.
He's looking over.
Yes, exactly. When he does the puzzle, the way the even the sound effects almost are like really close to Breath of the Wild. You know what I mean?
Here's another issue.
Go ahead, Rob.
I was going to say, here's another issue, right? Sonic's fast, right?
Yeah.
You have to make the world huge to make it feel open world. You have to make the world actually feel big, where Sonic can just get to places super quick. So, like, do you have that capability right now where I can run for him for 10 minutes or however long and still have a lot of map? Or am I going to be able to get to one side of the map in like a second?
Exactly.
Right?
That is a concern.
Supersonic speed, like
Breath of the Wild. Exactly. So that works.
Yeah.
So
I got a lot to do there.
Another thing too is being that this clearly looks like it wasn't necessarily ready to be shown, unless they just made a mistake, unless they genuinely thought like, oh, people are going to be stoked about this, and there was just like a bad move, but it looks like it wasn't ready to go. And I feel like, just a sidebar real quick, not even just about Sonic in general, but I feel like this is happening more and more. Even when it's just showcasing games, gameplay demos, whatever you want to say, and then even oftentimes when the game finally comes out, what do you guys think? Like what's going on with developers that this is becoming more commonplace to showcase things before they're entirely ready to be showcased before they're coming out? Is it just a rush to get it out? Is it a money thing? I can't put my finger on it anymore.
Honestly, I think it has something to do with money. It's the stakeholders, right? They say you have to have it out by this certain date. We expect to see something for this date. I mean, as a developer, you know when something's ready, like 100%. You're playing the game, you know when that is ready. But if you're on a crunch time where you're like, we need to have a date by this time, and this is what you have, you're going to show what you have. So I think that's a lot of it. And again, this isn't new for Sega to do something like this for Sonic. So that's why it's like almost be expected, which kind of sucks specifically for them. But a way they can correct this is maybe next time they show the game, show more of the characters. Show are we going to be play as Knuckles? Are we going to be play as Tails? Because right now it doesn't look great for what they're doing, and I just don't see. Here's another argument. How about this? When Legends Arceus came out, or when they showed the first trailer for Pokemon, that looked rough. That looked it looked barren. There was a couple issues with the graphics, and then it came out, and we only had a few trailers to go off of. Everyone's questioning, like, is it actually going to be good? Is it going to be, and it came out as fine. It came on, everyone's happy. And so maybe this can happen to this game, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that it can?
There's so many angles to this. I mean, this could be a very old like demo that they gave IGN to kind of like show off, right? This could be something that's really old. Another thing, like you said, crunch can be a factor, but also budget could be a huge factor, right? Where they're like, what, we have this budget for this game and we can only do this for so much. Again, this is Sega though. Sega has money. So
and I feel like it's their baby too. It's Sonic. I feel like it takes priority. You think that they would be like, all right. And then announcing like open world, we're doing something totally different. Look at what we're doing. You think that it would be ready more, more polished.
I give them credit for trying something different, right? I feel like Sonic has been in this limbo of like, all right, it's to be expected, right? Whatever. Yeah. This is a little bit different take on it, and you're like, oh, this kind of piques my interest now because it looks different. It's an open world game. It's like you're putting Sonic in a different environment. So I give them props for that. The execution is just poor. You know what I mean? Right. I just wish if they took the angle of Mario Odyssey, for example, and just kind of like made somewhat of like, how Mario Odyssey has these open world spaces, like elements, but they're not really open world. They're just levels per se. Like, I don't know. Sonic has to have some type of like levels where they can, he can kind of like do his thing as fast as he can, whatever, but then like have these exploratory like levels that he can enjoy and then you can just have fun with, but it doesn't seem like that we're getting that, you know what I mean?
Well, we'll see. I got some leaks that I stumbled upon last minute here. A lot of people are saying, what's going on in this game? There's nothing going on at all, at least for this gameplay demo. There's no enemies. There's no NPCs, just vast land with what looks like almost abandoned or a nearly abandoned island. But also, real quick, is that only a complaint because it's a Sonic game? And we aren't used to that? Is that a complaint because we only saw a 7-minute demo of him basically running around the environment and we're used to seeing Sonic being immediately thrown into not just enemies, but flurries of enemies? And once again, it goes back to like maybe they were thinking like, we'll take a different approach, and it was just failed. It didn't appeal to the gamers. Right. And maybe that, like I said, maybe that was precisely their intention off the bat, to showcase only what they did until further notice, thinking like, this is going to be a hit. This is going to draw everybody in, and then we're going to hit them with some stuff later. But I guess, who knows? It didn't pan out that way for them. It didn't look good. And we do know, though, that stuff is going to occur because of what we've seen in the trailer. We do know that there's more going on than him just running around, and it's just unfortunate that they didn't show that, because they've also got to know that that's what the gamers were expecting to see. We're expecting to see things that you already teased in the trailer be shown. We're expecting to see, when you label it as a gameplay demo, we're expecting to see, what are we going to be playing? What are we going to be doing? So
there's no enemies either. Like, I mean, as far as like a boss,
there was a few robots here and there too.
Well, I'm thinking like, I don't even remember. I don't think
they're very. It's like he runs past them. Basically, he doesn't hit them. He just runs past them. So
that's how like I didn't even notice it. You know what I mean? That's how like barren it was.
IGN is going to release a little bit more for this entire month. So they're showing off some trailers here and there.
Yeah.
One of the trailers that they recently showed was gameplay as far as like fighting mechanics, right? So there is a little bit of combat in the game,
I didn't see
the trailer that we saw. And from what I noticed, there was a little bit of like this dodge mechanic that I saw Sonic had, which was kind of cool. But the more I kept watching it, it was like a 6-minute trailer. It felt very repetitive. What you're doing to kill these enemies, you're just doing the same thing over and over again. Who knows? This is just a sliver of what the game is, but we can definitely do more, hopefully. But from what they showed, it was just like the same mechanic. You kind of circle around the enemy, that kind of catapults them up in the air, and then you're able to attack them in midair.
Let's get into some of these leaks and see what sounds like a possibility and what sounds like it's not true. This comes from Blind Leak, and it's a leak like the vegetable. It's a vegetable, right? Leak is a vegetable.
Sometimes.
On Twitter, blind_leak LEEK, and he says, or they say, okay, let's get this out of the way. I want to get into the big details for what is going on with Sonic Frontiers. Frontiers has 6 playable characters: Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, so the original 3, then Amy and Shadow, with an inclusion of a customizable character as an extra feature, which is on par with, which one was that? Was that,
I don't know
which game? Wasn't there a customize your character feature in one of the Sonic games
recently, a few years back?
Yeah, it was one of the, it's not Sonic Heroes, but Heroes for some reason stands out, but it's not
Heroes.
It's not Heroes.
Rotated to Sonic Heroes.
Yeah, I can't remember which one it is. I'll throw it up on the screen, obviously, but I can't remember which one it is. So Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Shadow, and a customizable extra character feature. That sounds like a possibility to me. That doesn't sound like too far out of the spectrum. And if that is true, it would also make sense why they're holding that back to not showcase that right away. You know what I mean? And it, to me, also this vast land that we have in this game, it would make sense to me to be able to play these other characters as well. Like being able to fly across the lands as Tails, it makes sense to me. Being able to glide from, structure to structure, I guess, whatever you want to call those things, from structure to structure, as Knuckles, that makes sense to me, doing those things. I guess Shadow is pretty much like Sonic. Amy would be closer to Sonic, I guess, too, as well.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, Sonic's kind of weird. Yeah, or Amy's kind of weird, too. Yeah.
And then I wonder if you're customizing your character, is it just, what exactly are you customizing, though, is what I'm curious. Is not just the look. Are you customizing, like, the features of the character? Like,
can they fly?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. I wonder. And
would they really get into that much detail?
I know, right? I don't feel like that would be the focus, but we do have a leak about some of the character customizations, and it says that it's a limited customization for Sonic and his friends, such as auras, clothes, boosts, and idle animations. Which, like, that doesn't sound very, it sounds possible, but it doesn't sound very interesting,
Yeah, no, nothing.
More advanced, in-depth customization for the customizable characters, but it doesn't really go into detail. It does say that it's customization that's similar to Phantasy Star Online, which I never played those games, so I don't know.
Okay. No, yeah. By the way, the name of the game that you're looking for with the customizable is Sonic Forces.
Forces, that's what it was.
Forces was the one.
Yes, yep. Forces. The Chow Garden is making a comeback, and I actually dig that. Yeah, I love that too. I dig that. It borrows mechanics once again from Phantasy Star Online, which I don't know anything about it. You can customize it. The Chow Garden customization is similar to the personal quarters in the Phantasy Star Online games. Again, does nothing for my memory.
Yeah, a lot of comparison.
Don't know.
I'm right there with you, man.
It also serves as the bonus room for extras, and you can interact with the items that you collect. So
interesting. So the Chow Garden, that's that little place where you raise the.
Right.
You find them in the overworld and then you bring them and then you can like do mini games with them.
That was cool.
Like
that was an adventure too, right?
That was I think that was first introduced in Sonic Adventure, the first one.
Yes.
I believe.
Yes.
Because you had the VMU for the Sega Dreamcast, the little the memory card with the screen on it, and you could take that and you could play the little Chow Garden like a Tamagotchi or a Pokemon or whatever, Yeah. Something that you mentioned was about like the zones, Super Mario Odyssey, different worlds, levels, this and that. Apparently this is going to have open zones. It has 7 open zones that have their own unique structures and buildings.
Makes sense.
And the open zone format is similar to Monster Hunter and Phantasy Star Online, New Genesis. Some zones will have villages, towns, and cities. I don't know. It sounds like it's Possible.
It sounds great on paper. You know what I mean? I just want to see. I just want to see it in action.
Yeah, right? It sounds semi similar to what Odyssey did as well, though. You got all that going on, and then it goes into a variety. This is something that everybody was talking about, us included. There will be a variety of NPCs, anime-like looking humans, anthros, robots, chow, and woodland creatures, which is common now for Sonic. So. That's probably there. A variety of unique shops for certain items that kind of feels similar to Odyssey, where you can go and you can get the suits and everything, the skins and all that. A variety of enemies like badniks, egg pawns, and the new Titan robots. Sounds possible. We see like these big Titan robot things in the trailer. Also could just be somebody going, yeah, we're going to have those. And then they just wrote it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Or it could be legit. Then we have cyberspace stages required to get all 7 Chaos Emeralds, which I was listening to your guys' podcast when you did the trivia, and you did how many Chaos Emeralds? Dude, I said 5 too. I said 5.
Thank you. Yes, dude.
7 seems so odd.
It's so much. I'm like, no, come on.
Yeah.
I just watched small. They all fit.
Yeah, they all fit.
I just watched Sonic 2 like a few days ago, and I'm just like, all right, like I have to know this, but in no way did I remember there was fucking 7.
I didn't either, dude. I didn't either. And I kind of pride myself on being like an old school Sonic fan, But I mean, it's been a while. I'm actually kind of slowly revisiting them right now. Like I dabbled back into Sonic Generations. I never beat that game. I got I think halfway through it, and I don't know what happened. I just never continued playing it. I started dabbling in that again. I still never beat Sonic Mania. Did you guys play Sonic Mania?
I did,
for the Xbox 360, but then never touched it. Did it come up for 360? I think it did.
I think so.
I think so. Maybe it could have. I don't even know anymore, dude. We got Xbox 360, One, Series X, Series S, One X. I don't know anymore, dude.
Makes no sense, man.
You know what I mean? I have no idea.
The simple PS4, PS5.
I know, right?
4, 5, 6. Like,
figure it out. But
I'm actually interested that you never played Adventure 2. Like I keep thinking about me talking about Sonic right now.
I feel like I did.
You definitely did. Do you remember playing it?
I have it. I own it. I have it on Steam. I have like all the Sonic games on Steam, and I have them all on Xbox, all the ones that are available. So I just gotta
playing it.
Go back. Yeah, does it not really hold up?
It doesn't hold up too well, and it's not really meant for the computer. Like I feel that. It quits.
Well, I'm gonna play it with a controller for sure. I'm not gonna play a mouse and keyboard.
It's just wonky. Plus, like you have to mess with the dimensions and stuff like that. Like the resolution. It's not ported very easily.
But the music though.
Oh yes,
I was going to say
yes.
You can't. You just can't.
I'm a big Sonic music fan in general across like all the games. I have so much of them. I mean, everything's like available on Spotify now too, anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I downloaded all of them. I have like so many, dude, from the old school all the way up to even like Sonic CD. I love some of the Sonic CD music and the Sonic Mania music. Puts them all together and remasters them, redoes them. I love it, dude. I'm a big Sonic music fan. I got to dabble back into Sonic, dude. I'm playing Generations again, playing Mania here and there, and I have Adventure. I want to go back to Adventure and then do Adventure 2 as well. But I got so many things I'm playing, which we're going to talk about that.
Just play the first 10 minutes of the game at least,
and see how it vibe it out.
This is the best part of the game.
The first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes of the game. That's all you need.
Yeah.
So the cyber space stage is required to get all 7 Chaos Emeralds located in the floating Emerald Shrines. Sonic is the only playable character during these sections of the games, and it's said to play like Generations and Unleashed, which I find it weird because wasn't Unleashed not very
wasn't great,
wasn't welcomed. So I find it strange that they would even include a game that is on the scale being a lesser Sonic game. If that's true, if that's true, who knows?
Yeah, that's interesting stuff. There's a lot of interesting tidbits there. I don't think anything really speaks to me personally. Again, I'm not a huge Sonic fan, so maybe it does speak to people that are huge Sonic fans. But for me, I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. Again, all that talk, I need to see that actually shown to me.
You need to actually see it.
I need to visually see some of this.
I need to visually see it. Yeah, for sure.
They say that there's new stages and returning stages, which obviously Green Hill is one of them, which I feel like obviously it's in every single one. And one of the new ones is the birthday party scene that's in Generations, which I feel like I remember because I've been playing it here and there recently, but I can't remember. Was that? I'm mixing it up. I don't know if that was Generations, an animation, or something in Mania. I can't recall.
There was a show, right? There was a show, the Sonic Adventure show with the kid's name was Sora.
And they were like at a picnic or something, and there's like a picnic table.
It was. Hold on,
I don't know if that was in Generations or not, but it sounds. I know the scene. The scene sounds familiar. I just don't know if I'm thinking of the same scene or not. But they're saying that one of the new stages is the birthday party scene that appears in Generations, and this is how Sonic gets his memories, whatever that exactly entails.
There's a lot of lore in that. That sounds pretty cool.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true.
It's giving me Kingdom Hearts vibes. Holy
I know, right? It's getting all over, dude. We're gonna have to play every single Sonic game for this one to make sense, you know? Did you find it, Rob, or no? Before I go on?
So it says it is in Sonic Generations.
Okay, then it is what I'm thinking of then. It's gotta be.
It's 100%.
Because like I said, I've been dabbling back in Generations, and I remember that from a couple weeks ago. It sounds familiar. But I don't see how that would be like, I mean, I guess it could be a stage, but it just looks like any other land of grass. Like,
right. That sounds more of like a rumor than something actually, like that sounds like something just like someone tacked in there.
Exactly. Like, I don't know if that's official. It says that there will be an online multiplayer feature. This will be online multiplayer. It's not just a solo game. I don't know what that entails. This sounds like another possibility, what I'm about to say. I don't know. It actually kind of makes sense now that I'm like talking about it out loud, but it says there will be a Sonic movie skin as a pre-order bonus.
That's cool.
I both see how that could work because if we're in this more realistic setting, but also are they going to be able to blend that in? Is it going to look like a realistic Sonic, or like how realistic is that going to look?
Realistic, yeah,
it does. But how realistic are we going here? You know what I mean? Is it really Sonic from the movie just implemented in the game exactly how he looks?
It might just look like how Sonic looks in the game, but in the movie, Sonic has a bunch of outfits. Maybe they're incorporating some of the outfits and keeping it the same, graphical fidelity that they have.
But I think that the train has kind of the boat has sailed on that one because the movie came out a couple 2 months ago now at this point. And when by the time this game
comes out, but I still see how they could do it because they're just tying it in. They own all the rights to everything, this and that. Right. So and it's their movie, it's their game. I feel like it's not out of the realm.
Right.
Possibilities.
No, 100%.
And that's all we got for the leaks, man. So I think the majority of these sound like possibilities to me.
Yeah.
They sound like possibilities. There's some questionable ones, and there's some that just don't make sense to me personally because I don't understand like Phantasy Star. I didn't play all the Sonic games, so there's maybe certain things here and there. But a lot of these don't sound too far out of the realm of possibilities. Are there any that you're stoked for? Or anything that you want to see more of, or hope to see in a future trailer? I want to see some online stuff. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty skeptical about what would almost all that stuff because they were comparing it a lot to older games, and typically, if it's a new game, it's kind of its own new thing that hasn't been revealed yet. So the fact, like that thing, what they say, where they're like, "Oh, it's going to play like Sonic Unleashed," and it's like, it shouldn't play like Sonic Unleashed. Like that's a bad thing. You got to take those things with a grain of salt because
there's a lot of generations in here too. A lot of Sonic generations mentioning Sonic generations in these leaks too. So I don't know.
I am interested to see the online. I think that when you said that, I'm like, oh, okay. So like I said, everything on paper sounds great. And I think the online portion, how is that going to work? Is that going to be some type of like some type of battle mechanic, like
exactly,
playing with friends, racing,
in Sonic 3, they had the competition mode. Sonic the Hedgehog 3, the original one on Genesis, they had the competition mode. It wasn't obviously online back then, but it was couch co-op. But is this online multiplayer going to be open world multiplayer where you're playing with everybody in the open world? Is there some sort of hub that you can go to? Cool. What is it, or is it just like an online multiplayer mode? Where it's some like a competition mode or a racing thing, just like you guys said. Like what exactly does that entail? Yeah, like what could it be? So I'm interested in seeing that, and I'm interested in. I'd love to see the other playable characters. How they play, their mechanics. Surprisingly, I'm kind of interested. My go-to is always Knuckles. He's one of my favorites, but I'm surprisingly interested in seeing how Tails plays because of his flying mechanic in such of an open world. That might be actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
but 100%. If he does fly, he can only fly for a short period of time.
Right.
Would he continue to fly for a short period of time here, being that it's open world, or would they nix that and be able to make him fly because he's got to get across all this land? You know what I mean?
They made unlimited because Sonic can just go how far he wants.
Exactly.
To
right.
So there's a lot of questions, 100%. And they didn't answer enough questions when showing this because people are now doubting the game, which I think, in my opinion, is a failure of a trailer. If people are doubting your game, they should be hyped for the game. Now people are like, as I kept watching, I got less and less hyped. So,
yeah. I was a little bored. I was like, at first I was like, okay, cool. All right. There's certain things that are looking cool. I like I said earlier, I can understand work in progress. I'll give it some slack. But then as it went on, I was like, all right, this is just the same thing over and over. You know what I mean? Like this is not pulling me in as much as I would have liked, man. This game, Sonic Frontiers, it doesn't have an official release date, but it is scheduled for the end of this year. And a lot of people are saying that they should wait, take their time, and really make this worth it. I do see a lot of people that they're not necessarily saying like, fuck this game altogether. They want this game, but they just don't want it in the state that it's in right now and what they've been seeing. Polish it up. And as of this recording, I mean, we still really don't know much of what this game is about other than some rumors and leaks. As of this recording, by the time this comes out, maybe IGN will already have other stuff out because they said all month long, right? They were going to be all month long showing stuff. So maybe we'll get some more answers and this fucking episode will be outdated. Thanks a lot, IGN.
You saw that there was something that I was trying to do and you figured that out. That's why you are who you are.
Another showcase that we got recently was the Sony State of Play for PlayStation. I know you guys just spoke about it in depth on your pod, so I'm actually not going to cover it. I know you're like, let's go, but I'm actually not going to cover it.
We covered so much of it already,
exactly. So if anyone wants to tune in and get some in-depth talk about it, check out their episode 73 on the Gaming Duo podcast, wherever you check out pods, and run it up for these guys because I just listened to it not long ago, and it's actually really dope. But super quick sidebar about the State of Play. The only thing I do want to mention, man, is I am so stoked for Spider-Man because I don't have a PlayStation still.
Oh man!
So I am
You're
so
in for
stoked,
such a treat,
dude. I'm so stoked.
Such a treat.
Can you even pre-order it now? Did they? I'll do it now. I didn't look. I haven't looked. Oh man, I saw it. My nipples were so hard, dude. So hard. I turned around. I hit my dog, poked her in the eye. It was horrible, dude. I'm so stoked for it, dude. When I saw that, I was like, yes, man. But as opposed to going through the State of Play, something that I've been thinking about for a while now, man, and I've mentioned just very briefly in some episodes in the past, but it's dope that you guys are here so I can talk about it with somebody. Something I've been noticing more and more with developers backing out of gaming conventions and or gaming conventions not operating as frequently as they used to, whether that's by choice or force. And as developers are running their own showcases or even just simply gaming reveals or trailers that they put up on YouTube or via social media and just calling it a day, it seems like we might be at a turning point in gaming where the conventions are no longer quite a thing as they used to be, at least for this side of entertainment, for gaming, because I feel like film gatherings such as Sundance and stuff like that are always going to have a place. I feel like cosplay conventions are always going to have a place because that's that's a very physical thing. Yeah. I think, Comic-Cons, WonderCons that mix many different genres of entertainment and fandom and pop culture together, those are kind of going to always have a place. But I believe that these type of conventions for gaming, maybe the world that we live in now, where it's very online, very social media, this and that, they have the options, developers, of doing it on their own and spending their money to just do like what Nintendo does or the Xbox and Bethesda showcase that's coming up, and what PlayStation just did with the State of Play, where they don't need to spend thousands and thousands and thousands and stress themselves out and have physical presence there at gaming conventions such as E3. Do you guys believe that there's still a need for gaming conventions in this time, in this era?
It's a tough answer.
It's a mixed bag.
It's a mixed bag for sure. I think so. With the pandemic, right? Obviously, that kind of stirred the pot. That kind of started things. Of like, all right, a lot of these developers, a lot of these companies are now going to shift over to online, right? Yeah. And then slowly you started noticing E3 kind of like going behind in the background, right? Slowly,
which was starting to slowly happen anyway.
Correct. Yeah. Exactly. So it's a good and bad thing. I think we're not. I think everything's evolving. I think that's what it is. And I think people are starting to understand that you don't necessarily need, like you were saying, spend thousands of dollars in the showcase, right? In this kind of like E3 convention to then do exactly what you were trying to do. Because if you think about it, now we have Nintendo did it right. Nintendo started this and they're like, you know what? This is exactly how everyone needs to do it. Mm-hmm. And everyone started kind of like following suit, right? Nintendo, when they have a what's their thing called?
Direct.
I know.
Directs.
I couldn't remember the Nintendo Directs. Yeah, when I was talking about it, I was gonna say Treehouse, and I was like, oh, that's not right. That's not the Treehouse.
After the Direct.
That's the after. Yeah. So I just didn't say it, but thank you because I couldn't think of it either.
when they post, hey guys, we're having a Direct Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever. All eyes are on them. You know what I mean?
Right.
As opposed to E3,
watching it.
Yeah.
As opposed to E3, you have this long couple days convention.
Yep.
You have Microsoft, Sony, sometimes Bethesda, sometimes Ubisoft. They're all in like one day, and like all eyes are on all them. So you're watching Nintendo, you're watching Sony. Yeah. So now it's like everybody's watching you because you have your platform, you have your showing. All eyes are on you. You're going to be the talk of IGN. You're going to be the talk of all these other.
Exactly. Everything stops. It's all about you, and it's going to be like that for a few days after as well.
And you're not spending the amount of money. That budget is completely
the resources aren't
the resources
crazy.
That you're not using. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's all in all, it's a great way for companies to really show what they have and show their games without the need of making this huge blowout again. And then don't get me wrong. Now we have a kind of shifted where what's his name?
Geoff Knightley.
Jeff Keighley. Jeff Keighley.
Yeah, Jeff Keighley. Yeah, Video Game Awards, right?
Yes. He does the Video Game Awards, but he's also doing the Summer Game Fest, which is next week, June 9th.
Yeah.
So that is somewhat similar of what E3 used to do, where it's like, hey guys, come here. We're going to talk about games. We're going to showcase a lot of games. Everything is just kind of like online now. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just shifted in a sense.
Have you guys ever been to any gaming conventions? Have you gone to any?
We never got the chance to do only PAX East. That was the only one we went to. It's more indie.
Would you say the one in Canada? What was the one in Canada?
I don't even remember the name of it. So probably not. Yeah, I don't remember the name of it.
I don't remember.
We went to one in Canada that was just like we like randomly just like walked into it. It was actually really funny.
It was just like,
but I think it was more esports related. I don't think it was an actual like convention. But I was going to add all about that. I think E3 in a sense was kind of like an office, right? And if you can do your work remotely, what's the point of showing up into that office? E3 was that place to go to, you know? And we can just do it like since the world evolving with the technology to just show you online, we're just going to do that. We don't have to rent the space. We don't have to only do these dates and that's it. And if something goes wrong or the game's not ready, then we're screwed. Right. And then everyone's like, oh, Sony sucks because they showed only these games. Whereas if the game might've been ready a month or two later. Right. So I think I will admit, I do miss the spectacle of E3. Exactly. I miss that. It's like E3, 3 days of just games. And it's going to be a big deal. And you're like, you're going to say, who's going to win E3? Is it going to be Sony's, Nintendo? Because if you look at back in the day when they showed Twilight Princess, they showed a new Zelda game or a new Mario. Miyamoto would come up on stage and he would have like a shield and sword, and everyone would be cheering and screaming. And
it was an event. Yes,
right. You kind of miss that, when doing this all digital.
It's not the same when they do the directs and they just come out in like a studio in front of a green screen, and there's no audience there to hype it up either. Because that's the vibe. Like what you're saying, that's the vibe that you get as if whether you're there or whether you're watching live. That's the vibe that you get too, is being able to hear the audience go crazy. That hypes you up even more as well.
Exactly. I remember one of my favorite E3 moments was Kingdom Hearts 3, right? Obviously one of my, I love Kingdom Hearts 3. When they first announced it, that you can hear the audience in the background. You can hear when Square Enix was like, showcasing that game. And that was the same time when they showed Final Fantasy 7, I believe as well. Yeah. And so, like you said, there's a sense of like intimacy, right? You're not there. You're not physically there, but because you're watching it, and maybe like I remember one time, Rob, you came to my house and we were just watching the E3 at some point too.
We just watch E3.
But there's a sense of like intimacy of like you hear the audience. Same thing with God of War when they first announced God of War. You hear the people in the background. You have that sense of like,
the hype. They're quiet. Everything's dark, and then boom, the screen comes on, and you're just like, let's go. So. That's missed, right? That's you can't say it's all good but I think moving forward, this is the way to go because I think so. You get more eyes on you, like Kelvin said.
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to go to a couple E3s. I went to 2 E3s. They're only like an hour away from where I live. So I've been to 2 E3s back in the day. I've been to a couple BlizzCons as well, because I'm obviously, you guys know, we talked about it on your podcast, I'm a big Warcraft fan. And then I've been to WonderCon twice, and I think that's it throughout my lifetime. I think that's all. I've never been to a Comic-Con or anything. But just speaking on E3, people, especially because I interview a lot of cosplayers, I talk to a lot of cosplayers, so I talk to a lot of people that go to conventions just in general, and people are often like, oh man, it's tiring, it's this, that, but it's fun at the same time. But I do get a lot of people that tell me like it's so tiring. And I understand it. I always got to preface it by saying like, hey man, I had a great time when I went to all the conventions that I've gone to. But since we're just talking about E3, I had a great time at the E3s that I went to, man. Just like you said, it's like, it's a spectacle. It's an event. It's fun, man. But if you're not someone that wants to wait around in lines, I always say, think about it like Disneyland or Disney World, depending on where you're at in the world, Think about it as a Disney theme park. You're going to be waiting in lines. Like a lot of your time is spent standing in a line if you want to demo games, or if you want to go into a room where they're showcasing a game just there for the people that are, people that are there at that moment. Like one of the times when I went, they gave us exclusive gameplay just for the people that were attending E3 for Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And I waited in that line to see it. And I think I waited like an hour. You know what I mean? I spent an hour of my time to see, I think it was like 10 to 15 minutes of gameplay. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you're not someone that's willing to do that, then it's not for you. You know what I mean? Yeah. But if you are someone that's willing to do that, it's really fun. And then you get to like you have the opportunity to meet people, because developers are just walking around like, Miyamoto and all of them, some of them, not all of them, like Reggie, they could just be walking around. They're just walking around with the rest of the crew, and then they're just checking out, seeing the reactions live right there. And you get to meet them, shake their hand if you take a picture, whatever. Oftentimes they'll have like characters walking around, like it'll be a Mario walking around, like just, again, like a theme park, like Disney, Mickey, Goofy, Pluto, this, that. Sometimes they have that. It's like a theme park for gamers, So I think that every gamer should, maybe not now, but if we were still doing it, I do think that like every gamer should experience that at least once, because it is something that like speaks to your inner child. Like if you were a child going to do this, you would absolutely be mind blown, Yes. And it does have its fun to it as a fan and as a gamer. But other than that, business wise, I don't think it's smart anymore. Unfortunately,
it's not. It's just not. And there's still those physical cons, right? You have, like you said, Comic-Con, right? There's still games that go there. You can still, there's people that have, the booths to play the newest games that are out, the demos and stuff like that. Right. So there's still the ability to do those things if you want to, wait in line and play the game for 15 minutes and stuff like that. But I think, like you said, it's just not smart anymore. Whereas now, after this, we show you this trailer, there'll be a demo for you to download in the Xbox Xbox store, or the PS store. So exactly. It's just we're kind of moving forward in the technology. So why? Yep.
Let's break up the monotony real quick before we get into talking. I got some more stuff I want to talk to you guys about before we get out of here. But let's break up the monotony and let's get into this week's Cosplay of the Week. Oh, yes. And this week's Cosplay of the Week is kind of keeping with theme, at least with gaming. And this week's Cosplay of the Week is none other than Mitch and Meg Cosplay. And I'm throwing it up on the screen right about now. Ooh, look at this, dude. And that's Mitch and Meg .cosplay, spelled exactly how it sounds. And this is absolutely awesome, dude. It's absolutely awesome, dude. It's Meg as Peach from Mario Tennis and Mitch as Toad, dude. And it's absolutely so cool, man. And the caption says, Peach has been kidnapped 0 times since hiring Toad as her head of security. I love that, dude. I love that, dude. Hey, you know what? Yeah, Mitch and Meg. Mitch and Meg are actually, they're in my state. They're not far from me. They're like an hour away from me. This was actually taken at the Anaheim Convention Center, which was for WonderCon, which I went to, and I missed them. I did not know that they were there. I hit them up the last day, and I was like, oh, you guys still around? I wanted to meet them and take pictures with them. I think that their cosplays are so cool, so shout out to you guys. I know they're doing other conventions around. I don't remember which ones right now, or else I would shout them out. But they're totally cool people. I'm definitely gonna get a Shy Guy cosplay going, so that way I can just kind of show up in the background, and I'll kind of be like a Shy Guy that kind of like that went to the other side. Like I said, you know what, forget it. I'm not fucking with Bowser anymore, and now I'm hanging out with Peach and Toad, and I'll be Toad's like assistant. You know what I mean? I'm a Shy Guy that turned a blind eye. You know what I mean? Now I'm the assistant. I'm a short guy. We can make it happen. We'll make it happen. This photo is done by Swallowtail Photo Studio, and I got a question about that Instagram name, dude. Swallowtail. I got a question, dude. I'm just curious. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because he probably likes Yellowtail. I don't know what you guys were thinking. You sick perverted.
Yep, that's what it was.
I was 100%. Thinking sushi. Yeah, obviously, it's obviously sushi. It's a sushi thing. I wasn't thinking
the
Toad. Exactly. The Toad hat was by Glam Baby Tutus. I'm assuming it's Tutus. It's Tutus. I hope it's tutus and not like tutus. It's like that one time where it's not tutus and it's pronounced tutus. It's going to be this time. This is absolutely dope, man. I love this. You got Peach with the crown on, the perfect Peach dress going on. She's got the tennis racket in her hand. It's beautifully done. Toad back there as security. I think that's so cool. The Toad hat, the glasses. He's got the suit on. It's absolutely dope, dude. And I want to throw up a second picture, and I'm throwing it up. No, it's up on the screen right now. Does it get any better? It does. It gets even better, dude. And this is Peach and Bowser. His rendition of Bowser. This is beautifully done. It's so accurate. The Peach crown, once again, the hair, even the earrings match the necklace that's there, and the dress is all flowy. It's amazing. It is 100% game accurate. And let's talk about Mitch's Bowser iteration cosplay going on there. The caption says, "Shh, don't tell Mario." Absolutely dope, dude. He's got the shoulders going on there with the chest, and it's all around. He's got the what's that called? The necklace, but it's like a what's it called when
choker?
The necklace is choker. There we go. He's got the choker, which is accurate because Bowser has a choker. He's got it on his arms, accurate because Bowser has it there. He's got the bracers going on. Everything is all Bowsered out. It looks absolutely dope, man. It's a cool way to pull off a Bowser cosplay. I love it. The photo is by Howl_of_Dawn. The dress is by Molly Nguyen_design. The wigs are by Arda Wigs, and the Bowser armor was handmade. Totally cool. Mitch and Meg cosplay, you guys are awesome. I've been following you guys for quite a while now. I can't wait to meet you guys sometime when we both end up, or I guess we all, because there's two of you and there's one of me. When we all meet up at a cosplay at some point in time. I hope that happens. You guys are absolutely dope. Everybody, please go follow MitchandMeg.cosplay on Instagram, because Mitch and Meg, your Toad, Peach, and Bowser cosplay of the week for me and the Gaming Duo podcast is amazing. Yes.
You were saying follow them? We already did. We followed you guys because that was incredible. I really love the Bowser, how he made it into like armor instead.
Yes, dude, right?
That was sick, Mitch.
Right?
So kudos to you, man.
Dope rendition.
If I was Mario, I'd be sweating.
I'd be worried.
I'd be worried. Like,
yes, dude. Yes, dude. Hell yeah, man.
The Toad and Peach one, I think that looks fire. I think it reminds me of like a multiverse, like
it
formation.
does.
You know what I mean? Right? I was like, oh, this is a different, this is a different iteration of them.
So cool, dude.
Mamma mia.
Before we get out of here, I got some things I want to talk to you guys about, man. About you, Rob. If I'm not mistaken, on one of your guys' last episodes, you mentioned that you just finished playing through Ocarina of Time, right? Yep. And you did so via Switch Online, and you said it still holds up.
Still holds up, man. I just got the expansion pass. I was kind of going through all my old games, and I played Star Fox 64. I played Banjo-Kazooie, and I'm just kind of testing and see, like, are these games really do they hold up still?
Yeah.
And Star Fox 64 did. It held up really well. Banjo-Kazooie did not because of the camera. The camera was awful.
Oh.
Mario 64, for me, didn't really hold up because the camera was just kind of insane.
The controls are wonky. I've revisited Mario 64 too.
He feels like a wet noodle. It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, even on the people could see it on the camera, but I know with Zoom here, you guys probably can't see it as well. But I have the Super Mario 3D All Stars up here, and even Mario 64 on there, man. Like I didn't really enjoy playing it. Unfortunately, the controls are wonky. It kind of sucks. Kelvin, you were turned off by Majora's Mask, right? By the timing aspect of it. Do you like the game as a whole, or did that aspect completely ruin the game for you?
That aspect completely ruined the game.
It sucks. Yeah, I feel you though. I do feel you though. Yeah. I do. Yeah.
I'm not a guy that likes to be timed in any aspect of my life or in games. So please don't time me, especially in a video game. So for me to be timed and kind of have this like end goal of like, oh, you have to get this done in a certain time frame, I'm like that puts me in this I don't know. I'm just like, all right, I can't do this anymore. So I dabbled with it a little bit, and I'm just like, this is not for me. You know what I mean? It's just not for me.
I feel you on that. I know. I have a love-hate relationship. Maybe not so much hate, I would say, but for a lack of better words, a love-hate relationship with Majora's Mask as well, because of that same reason. Reason. You know what I mean? I do love it. I like the dark aspect of it, like the creepy aspect of it. Like I dig that because like Twilight Princess is one of my favorite Zelda games, and like I like the darker things that Zelda does, and Majora's Mask is kind of I almost want to say kind of like a prelude to that, you know, to like what Twilight Princess kind of is. But the timing aspect of it always like it. I already have anxiety in my regular life. Yes. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So
it's like, it gives me the I gotta hurry up, no, and then it's coming down. I'm done. It's dead. I'm dead. You know what I mean? Like can't do it.
That's exactly how I feel.
Because you have to rewind time like constantly, right? It's just like, let me wait for 2:00 on Wednesday to wait for this guy to show up out of this bar, and then I slash my sword, and then I get the map. Like it's too much.
As big of a Zelda fan as I am, I have a bunch of Zelda stuff here. I almost hate to say that I never finished Majora's Mask. Rob, did you ever finish it?
Yeah.
You finished it? He says it like he's so disappointed. He's so disappointed. Yeah, I've never said anything because I don't want people to shit on me. But I have never actually. I know what happens because I've watched it, but I've never done it myself. I've never finished it myself, and one day I will, man. One day,
you're missing out because the last boss fight is probably one of the most epic boss fights of all time. You play as the fierce deity Link. Like
I know. Dude.
It's funny.
I've never done it myself.
I never really finished it myself, but I watched Rob play this game back in the day, the whole entire time. So I feel like I played the game myself. So it is a fantastic game. You're missing out for sure.
It is on my like one of my top 10 list or something, but like can I really even say that not playing the whole thing? You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know, man. Kelvin, you also said that you're really not in the mood to play many games as you were before. Like right now, it's just you're in one of those moments.
I'm in one of those funks, and I don't know if you've ever experienced that before, but
I'm in it right now.
Exactly. You get one of those feelings where you're just like, you know what? Like I don't have. One, I think it's probably the time that I just don't have to play games, but I don't feel like playing anything right now. And it sucks because you don't know why. You just feel that way.
Yes.
And then it comes, it goes back on and off. It
ebbs and flows, baby.
Exactly. It comes and goes.
Like, I'm both feeling that, but also playing a bunch of different games at the same time. And it's like, maybe that's part of it for me too, is like, I'm not focusing on a game like I used to. I'm like playing this for a little bit, playing that for a little bit, playing this for a little bit. And it's also like, contributing to my lack of an attention span, I think too, and I'm getting used to just like, I'll play this for a little bit and then I'll go over here, I'll play this for a little bit. I'll go over here and play. And then inside though, I'm like for instance, Kingdom Hearts 3, we talked about that on your podcast. And then I mentioned that in a DM to you guys that I was going to get around to it. I didn't end up getting around to it. But inside I want to. Inside, I'm like, I really want to play this. But then when I think about going to sit down to play it, I'm like, I'll do it another time.
Exactly, dude. It's just the thought of like sitting down, turning it on, playing.
Yes,
I forgot how to play. Do I now have to remember how to do the buttons and stuff like that? I'm all set.
But I want to, but I am still playing things. Like I started dabbling back into World of Warcraft and playing that for a couple weeks. And I hate to say it though, but once again, I'm like, I was stoked playing it for a couple weeks. I was like, hell yeah, my love for it came back. And then literally like maybe 3 days ago, I hit that same feeling where I was like, I'm not, I don't know if I want to put my energy into this.
Right? It's just, you just don't have the drive to play.
Maybe it's that. Yeah, the drive is just not there. Because when I am playing it, I'm having a good time, but it just doesn't last as long as it used to.
Right.
Where I'm like, I'll play tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like,
you know what's the issue, I think, with it too, in my opinion? I think right now we live in an age where everything is just so accessible. There's so many ways to consume games right now. You got Steam, you have your Xbox, you have your PS5.
And I have the Game Pass too, so I have so many available at any given moment.
Right, and not to mention the free-to-play games. There's like just any games you can just. There's so many games to choose from. Where back in the day, you had to physically go to the store. You had to pick which game you wanted from GameStop, wherever, and then that was the game you were
dedicate your time because you went to the store and bought it.
Exactly, man. Your podcast, your guys' podcast, the Gaming Duo podcast, man. You guys don't do the podcast together in the same room. You guys are located in different areas, right?
Yes.
Correct. Yeah. I'm in Connecticut. He's in New York.
I'm in New York. Yeah.
Okay, so then how did you guys even meet in the first place? Not anything about the podcast, but when did this glowing friendship begin? Like, how did that?
A good story.
How did that come about?
Take that, Rob.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, go for
it. So me and Kelvin both used to live in the Bronx, New York.
Nice.
Back in the day when we were younger, I'm a year older than him. So I think I was 7, he was 6. And we both were at McDonald's, and my grandma, his mom took us to McDonald's, and he was in the McDonald's ball pit. And I remember he came up to me at one point because they had like some kind of toy. I think it was like an Aladdin toy or something that was the Happy Meal toy. He's like, do you want to trade toys? Because I already have this toy. And then the rest is history. We've become best friends ever since. And
that's funny you remember that, because I remember being in the ball pit, and I had 2 of the balls on my chest there, pretending they're like breasts. And you and your sister were cracking up. I'm like, "Yep, I got him." That's it.
I was like, "That's the guy,
dude. That's so cool."
Right there. That's my best friend right there.
What a story, dude. That's so cool.
Mind you, I'm
man.
6 years old. I don't know what was I thinking. Whatever.
So with that being said, then how and when did the podcast journey start? How did that all come together?
The podcast journey started about almost 2 years ago, like a year and a half ago.
I'd say, yeah.
And it's been something that we've been wanting to do for quite some time. We talk about games almost every day. We talk almost every day, right? And we were kind of like in the situation where like, well, if we're always talking about games, if we're always, mentioning what we would do with this game or whatever, why don't we just do that and then have an audience or give our information that we know and put it on the mic, And that's kind of like how it started. We were just one day, we're like, you know what, let's just buy the stuff that we need and go from there. And that's what we did.
Figured it out how to record remotely, and it worked out quite a bit. And it's definitely a journey. Let me tell you.
Yeah. No, that makes sense though. It's a similar thing, like I've said before with mine. Like it's just same thing. I originally had a co-host. I'm not going to go into it. Everybody already knows. I've talked about it a million times. But originally had a co-host, and it was kind of the same thing. It was like we talk about all these things together. Why don't we just do it on a podcast? You know what I mean? Like, and meet like-minded people through it, that feel the same way. And then which, now we're here, including you guys, you know what I mean? We're all here. We're all doing it, man. Did you guys have any other thoughts of what your podcast would be about when you first started talking about it? Were when you were in the building stages or even the idea stages, whatever it may be, was it always gaming centric, or did it start as something else? Did you rummage through any ideas?
Well, you mentioned previously we were Projekt Gaming before, right?
Yeah.
We originally wanted to do something regarding games and tech as well. So we wanted to incorporate both of those things, but unfortunately that wasn't the best method to do so. Right, Rob?
Yeah, it was just kind of too much in a sense. Like as far as like we were trying to capture so many niches, and you can't do that. You kind of have to focus on one. And there's some people that do it really well. They can do that. But for us, we're just like, we're spreading ourselves too thin with the topics, and we didn't really know where our identity was. We're kind of having like an identity crisis. Like, did we do tech? Did we do games? Did we and they didn't really mesh very well together. We were finding out. So then at one point we're like, do we just do games? Because that's what we always kind of talk about mostly is games. And then we like tech, we like new tech, but like, are we as passionate about the tech as
the games? Yeah. Right. Makes sense.
And we dabbled really, we were very, it's funny, we're a podcast, right? But we dabbled a lot with YouTube. I think we were more YouTube, if anything, in the beginning than podcasting. And I think our mindset behind that was, well, we want to grab a wider audience because like you, we want to connect with people that are in the same boat as us, that want to talk about video games. Right. Exactly. And YouTube has obviously a huge, potential for an audience that you can build. Yeah. So we started there, but we found that YouTube is very hard. YouTube is a
completely different beast.
It's not what it used to be back in the day, especially like now. You know what I mean? Like right now, it's not what it used to be. Upload videos and connect with people. It's not like that anymore.
So we started noticing that we would do our podcast, we'll record, and then editing was a lot of work. We're editing videos, and then we're trying to find out, okay, what would be the best for our thumbnails, and what kind of description will we use, what kind of title will we use. It just began to be a lot, and then we kind of sat down, and don't get us wrong, like we're best friends, but at the same time, we've had a lot of like conflicts. We've had a lot of like
it happens. It happens,
time,
man.
Right?
Yeah,
that has to happen.
Yeah,
if you don't do that, it's you never grow. You never challenge each other.
Going into any kind of business with family or friends, it's just inevitable. It's going to happen.
Exactly.
100%.
And then we were like, you know what? Let's take it down a little bit. Let's focus on the podcast because that's originally what we wanted to do, right? And then let's focus. Let's put all our money in the basket, like or all our eggs in a basket there, and just focus on that.
Yeah, makes sense. You mentioned podcasting, connecting with people. That was obviously, one of the reasons, which was one of my questions is, what is it about podcasting? Like, why did you guys choose podcasting? Obviously you just mentioned the editing and this and that, but like, why podcasting as opposed to YouTube content creators, or like, what is it that you want out of this journey? What does it do for you guys? And where do you see it going? Hope that it ends up. I know there's a couple different questions there, so answer however you'd like.
Yeah. I think with podcasting, a lot of it is genuine. You can put your mind. People tend to be more genuine when they're just speaking their mind and just kind of going with a conversation. Not saying it's not rehearsed or anything like that, but it's a lot less scripted than say a YouTube video, right? Video, it's very scripted. You have, you have to do these certain things for you to get views and stuff like that. And it's got to make sure, like Kelvin said, you got to make sure thumbnail is that. And
exactly,
we didn't really vibe with that. We're like, no, we want to have our voices be heard and be genuine. And I think being genuine on YouTube is a little harder to be than on podcasts. Podcasts, people hear it because they like your views, they like your opinions on things.
Right.
So I think that's kind of why we went through the podcast route. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Kelv.
Yeah, I think that's what we slowly started to understand. We're like, you know what, this is something that we want to build a community. Like why we started this, one of your questions, we wanted to build a community. We wanted to interact with people that love gaming just like we do. And so it would be harder for us to do that on YouTube, in my opinion, because again, we're putting so much time and effort on that where we can't really focus on the content, which is the podcast itself, the talking,
that's the meat,
the meat of and potatoes of it. And so we've dabbled with so many things. I mean, we had so many different portions of the podcast. Like we had like a one segment was video game, like the games that we would play, and then we would give kind of like our opinions.
Game of the week.
Mm-hmm. And so that was great. That was cool. But we started noticing, okay, now we have to like play all these games, and we started creating this huge backlog.
And
it burned us out, dude. And then we made videos for it on top of that, and it was hard. It was definitely difficult, especially having, like, for me myself, I have a kid and I have a family, and I have a wife, so it's hard for me to balance all those things. So it is. It definitely gave us a lot to understand and knowledge based off of that. But I think, at the end of the day, what we wanted to do was build a community where we can talk to people, where people can reach out to us and just shoot the shit, talk about games, and just have fun. That's it. We love when people will just DM us on Instagram, and like, we'll just have our Twitter, we'll just have like a back and forth or like a discussion. That's really what we want. We want to foster that discussion, man, because people love to just like chit chat about that stuff. That's our hobbies.
Yeah, exactly. I relate to that too. A question that I often get asked by people here and there every now and then is one that I want to ask you guys, since we kind of do the same things here. If any of these other companies, whatever it may be, an IGN, a GameSpot, since you guys cater to gaming mostly, whomever ever came knocking and they were like, "Hey, Gaming Duo, we like what you're doing. Why don't you come on over to our platform and do it here?" Would you consider taking up that offer, or would you rather just do your own thing and have your own platform and be able to do what you want, when you want, how you want?
That's a good question.
That's a very good question.
A very good question.
Never thought of that shit.
Thank you.
Very insightful.
Well, you can thank somebody who asked me in the past, and then I've gotten it a few times. I actually got it a couple of those recently. So,
I think you take the pros and cons. You take a list and you look at your options and see what's best for you, right? What's best for us as individuals, as together, what's the best decision. I think just to be like, oh my God, IGN, they're doing let's just do it. I don't think that'd be the case. That'd be really cool, but I think I would have to be that conversation. So I honestly don't know, because it hasn't happened. And I would have to take it piece by piece and dissect it and make the most logical decision possible for the both of us. I don't know if you feel the same, Kelv, but it'd be. Yeah,
I think that's a great question, by the way. So, but it's funny because at least for me, and this is just me speaking here. In the future, what I want to see with this podcast is eventually having things like this, right? Having like other podcasters on our platform, but also indie developers developers in general, just kind of like having that voice for them to be like, hey, I'm a small developer. I'm a small company.
Have that place for them.
And I want to really talk about my video game. I want to really talk about this experience that I've been doing with this game that I'm building. And I want that to be our platform for them to kind of give them that voice for them. And I think I don't know how that would work with IGN or for GameStop. I don't think that would really
but
be
the clout, Kelvin, the clout that you would get with that. Come
on. Right. So it's, in my opinion, right now, if I were to answer that question, if they came knocking on our door, I would probably say no, only because I have a future for what this this podcast would be. And I think if we were just to kind of like sell out, I guess, I don't know.
And that's the whole thing.
I don't know where we would be at. I mean, we would be financially better probably, but that's not why we do this.
Well, there's also two sides to that too, right? And if you were to sign with IGN, you could use that platform to gain more followers. You'd get more people eyes on you in a sense.
You get the people that like you. They may be following IGN. Maybe you're on IGN's platform, or you're doing like a video for them or whatever. But there will be people that are like, hey, I like that guy or these two, if it's both of you at the same time. And then they go and they search for you and they follow you, and now they're a fan of you. Right. You know what I mean? So you do gain that. And
there's definitely some pros for it.
There's two sides, pros and cons to all of them. Yeah, exactly. Sure. I've gotten that a few times too with different things, being that my podcast covers a variety of things, gaming, film, and cosplay and whatnot. And my answer has always been kind of, in a sense, has been similar to you guys. Like, I don't know. Like, I would have to see where that goes. Am I open to it? Yeah, I'm open to if that were to ever happen. You know what I mean? No matter what it would be, because I've gotten people also telling me, aside from just like in our realm or podcasting or gaming or even like comic book. I don't know if you guys follow comic book. They don't just do comic books and stuff. They do it's mainly like Marvel and DC stuff, like news and film and all that, and then comic book resources. People ask me like, what if they reach out to you to like come do a hosting thing, or like what? And then I've had a few cosplayers tell me too, like, hey dude, you should do like a hosting gig. Would you ever do like red carpet hosting? Like, yeah, I would do that. I don't think that would hinder anything in a negative way that I'm doing with the podcast. You know what I mean? Sure. I would do that, of course. But as far as like companies, my concern is always like, I have, how do I say it? I'm not trying to sound like braggadocious or anything like that in no conceited way, but I have what I'd like to think, what I do strive for is a little bit of a unique take on the way that I do things. Mm-hmm. And I am oftentimes as well, it's not a very family-friendly show. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a very family-friendly show. And I worry if I ever were to do anything like that, are they going to want me to tone that down? Right. You know? Probably. To reach a wider audience.
Yeah.
And is that going to hinder, am I going to lose people that I've built? Right. You know, myself, people that like what I do, or and more importantly, who I am. Am I going to feel comfortable? Am I going to feel happy? The satisfaction that I currently get from this, like, maybe I'll be on a bigger platform. Maybe I'll get finance. Maybe I'll do this, blah, blah, blah. But am I going to feel 100% satisfied with the work that I'm putting out? Mm-hmm. Exactly. You know what I mean? Because I'm definitely going to have to tone it down. So that's always been a consideration. And I just thought that was always an interesting question that people asked me. And so I thought, man, I'm going to ask other podcasters that. You know what I mean?
Fantastic question. I mean, again, too, what you're saying is like you almost trading your freedom in a sense. For
and you're gonna no matter what, you know, even aside from me, the vulgarity, the comedy side of things I do, even just you guys, they're going to change things. Like it's inevitable. They're going to tell you, we like this, but we would prefer if it went this way instead. Right. Yeah. And you're like, fuck. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. Right, you know what I mean? That. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So I always wondered about that myself, but it just depends. Certain things, you know, you got to, like you said, you got to weigh the options. You know, put the deal on the table and let's talk about it. You know, we'll figure out where it goes. But wherever your guys' journey ends up taking you, man, I'm confident that it'll be bright. Doing it on your own, it's perfect. You guys got an amazing thing going. I genuinely dig what you guys are doing. Like, real talk, I really do. We've been talking back and forth with one another for a while. Before I even went on your guys' podcast, I've been digging what you guys are doing. So everybody should know that it's not just because I went on their podcast and not just because they're here today. I really do like what they're doing. You guys have got a great podcast. You guys got a great social media look. I've told you guys that personally. I love your promo clips, your graphics. I dig them, dude. So we are going to get out of here. But before we do, if there's anything that you guys want to say, take a brief sec before I hit that sleep killing high energy outro that I do. The spotlight's on you guys. The floor is yours. Whatever's on your mind, whatever you want to say.
Chazzy, thank you so much for having us on this show. Honestly, it's always fantastic. I mean, obviously people are listening, like you truly have a podcast where I'm listening to the whole time. You know, I never have little lulls where I'm like, I'm not listening. It's just like you're entertaining. Man. And
thank you, man.
I think I was just messaging you, and the energy you bring, that's something that's very rare. Like you have that going for you. It's hard to have that energy sometimes, especially if this isn't your full-time thing. Right. Yeah. A lot of these are passion projects, and
exactly that
energy is really true your strong suit. And I love it. You know,
thank you, man. I appreciate that.
But yeah, I love, you know, you're welcome anytime on our podcast to do this.
Same
thing. 100%. I want to do some gaming trivia with you eventually. I want to see.
Dude, I was going to say that. Okay, look, I know we're running on long. We're at like an hour and 20. We'll see what happens in editing. But I was going to do this thing, and maybe we could do it together instead. Maybe we could do it together instead. Whether it's on your podcast, my podcast, doesn't matter. But here's the idea. I'm giant. I don't know if you guys are. I'm giant on video game music. I have a personal catalog of like 3,000 songs. It's like not talking Apple Music, Spotify, or whatever's available on YouTube. Like downloaded over years among years.
Like you had the original iPod and you
exactly.
iTunes.
So, one of the things I was going to do here today, but I was like, I got so much I want to talk about. It's going to run on so long. I'll do it another time. Was playing snippets of sound effects and or music. Just like snippets, as snippet as you can get it, and seeing who can guess what's what. But the only thing with that is if I'm doing it, like, for instance, on my podcast, like, I'm not going to be playing because I'm going to be the one that gets the snippets together.
Right.
It would be you guys. So then if we did it on your podcast, one of you guys wouldn't be playing. It would be me versus one of you. So unless we could get somebody else to put it together.
I'm okay always being the host or being the game host, because being the game host is also fun because you get to come up with the questions and stuff like that.
Right. Both sides are fun. Yeah.
Rob is big on trivia, so he likes doing these things. I'm starting to get into trivia.
Dude. I would love to do that.
That's a great idea. That's a really great idea.
Dude, I would love to do that anytime. Like it doesn't even have to be like, now that I've been on your podcast and we just had the conversation and the whole like interview aspect of it out of the way. Then now you've been on mine. We did the talking and then the interview aspect out of the way. Now we can just appear. We can just appear on each other's shit randomly. Exactly. Right. You know, even if it's just for like a segment, it doesn't even have to be a whole episode. You know what I mean? 100%. Just like, hey man, can you come in at this time? You know what I mean? We come in, we do it, we shoot it, and fucking, you know what I mean? I think it would be so fun, dude. I'm so down for that.
I'm game.
I'm so down for that. But okay, I cut you off. So go ahead and finish, Rob or Kelvin, if it's your turn. Spotlight's on you guys.
I don't want to, go long on this, but just again, thank you, Chazzy. You're great. We've been following you for quite some time, and I messaged you saying like, hey man, like your stuff is quality. Like your stuff is awesome. Your intro is like really what grabbed me to start listening to. You know what I mean? I'm just like, holy shit, this guy has so much energy. It's so cool. It's so cool.
Thank you, man.
And then the intro song that you made is phenomenal. Again, I keep telling you that. But anyways, shameless plug. If you guys want to check us out, please check us out at the Gaming Duo Pod. We have a website, gamingduopod.com as well. If you guys want to check us out there, we have YouTube videos. We have obviously social media, and we have our platform for our podcast as well. So check us out anywhere you want. So please. That'll be great. Thank you so much.
Yes, do it. You guys got to run it up for these guys, dude, as they provide profound and engaging discussions on the latest gaming news every Friday at 7 a.m. The Gaming Duo Podcast. Rob and Kelvin, thank you guys so much for coming. And everybody that's tuning in right now, thank you for watching, for liking, for commenting, for sharing, for doing all of those things that you do over on youtube.com/Side Project Podcast. When you go down, you hit that big red subscribe button. People's elbow that subscribe button. It gives you 100 sexy project points. I have no idea what they're for. I'm still trying to figure it out. It's been like 2 years and some change. I don't know, but you can save them. They're like the Pac-Man pellets or something. I have no idea. Rings from Sonic. I don't know. We're racking them up. We don't know what they're for, but they're there, man. Thank you for watching and or listening on Spotify, Apple, Google, Spotify, all those things that you listen on Google, all those things, everything, rating, reviews, all those things. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you're looking for me, you can find me at IG Hates Chazzy on Instagram, and everything else you need to find me on is on the screen somewhere. It's over here. Could be over here. Who knows? I don't even know anymore. If you're looking for the podcast as a whole on Instagram, you can find it at Side Project Podcast. I thank you guys. I thank you guys for coming, and I thank you guys for tuning in. We're out of here.
I don't know how he does that shit.
I can't remember half the shit I say.
I'm literally staring. I'm like, how are you just
rambling? It's rambling
like,
off,
not rambling.
Off the
like,
dome.
It's like artistic in a sense, right?
Yeah.
It's like a thespian. It's fucking wild.